Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to design registration and login page using SQLite database. So without wasting any time, let's start with that. So first thing what we have to do is we have to create a new project. For that, click on create new project, select empty activity, click on next, and here I'm going to name this one login SQLite like this. After this, I have selected this minimum SDK version, that is 4.4, and click on finish. This will create a new project within few seconds. So here our new project is created. First thing, select this activity underscore main.xml, and first we have to design the registration page. And to design registration page, we have to actually import some images inside this one. So I have these basic images. You can use any images. So just copy these, move back over here, right click on this and paste it. Click on OK, refactor, and here you can see this BG images and BG images 1 login and registration is added. So first thing, click on the split so that XML file code is visible over here, and first thing I have to remove this text view. I don't need this. After this, we have to change this constraint layout to relative layout because we are going to work on relative layout, so that's why we have to change that. After this, we have to search the background, set the background for this. So background, and background will be at the rate we have stored the image into the drawable. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use this PG1, this image, and this one is looking nice. After this, what I have to do is I have to set padding for this one. So I'm going to set the padding 10 dp, and after this, now inside this relative layout, we have to first put some image. So I'm going to put an image view, and I'm going to set the ID. Width will be match parent and height will be 200 dp. And after this, I'm going to set the ID for this one. So ID will be image view. After this, I have to set the source for this image, so it will be drawable. I'm going to set the registration, this one, and after this I have to set the scale type, and I'm going to set this one center crop, little bit enlarge. This one is looking nice, right? After this, we have to set the text view, not text view, it is edit text. There is the text box, so we have to set the edit text. So here we have to set the width, that is match parent, and height is wrap content, and we have to set the ID. So ID will be user name. After this, we have to set the hint for this one, that is username, and text size will be 25 dp. After this, we have to move this edit text below this image, so we have to set layout below. Let me just write below, layout below, and set the ID, that is image view. We have to set this below the image view, and here you can see this. Now this image view, now this edit text is on the proper position. After this, we need one more edit text. For that, what I have to do is I have to just copy this one and paste it once again, and change this ID first to password, and change this one below to username like this. And we have to set some margin and change the hint to password, and layout top margin, so margin top will be 50 dp, and we have to set the size. Oh, everything is ready. Next thing, we need one more edit text to re-enter the password, so I'm going to copy this and paste it again, and change the ID to re-password, and this one below password, change the hint to re-enter password like this. After this, we need few buttons. That is, one is for registration and one is for register user, that is sign up, and another is for sign in. So I'm going to add one button over here, button, and the height width will be match parent and height will be wrap content. And I'm going to set the ID for this one. So ID will be btn sign up. After this, I have to set the text. So text will be register. After this, I'm going to just disable this text all caps to false. After this, I have to set this button needs to be over here below this re-enter password. So below ID will be re-password below this one, and we have to set the background tint, that is the background color, and I'm going to set this one to @Android, and I'm going to set color holo blue dark. This one is looking nice, and we have to set the text size. So text size is 25 dp. After this, we have to set some margin to the top. So top margin top will be 20 dp. And now we can see this one is looking nice. Here you can see this. After this, we need to add one more button. For that, I'm going to copy this and paste it again. And I'm going to change this one to sign in. And what we have to do is we have to just change this one to below btn sign up, and we have to change the color also. So change this one to dark to light, and we have to change the text as well. So change this one to existing user, and I want to change the line. After this, I have to write go to sign in page, and here you can see this. Now this one is looking nice. Okay, so now our design is ready. Here you can see this. Next step, what we have to do is we have to create a new class. That will be the DB class. So let me minimize this layout for these. Right click on this, click on next Java class, and we have to name this one DB helper, and click on enter. And here we created a new class. And here, first thing what I have to do is I have to extend the SQLite open helper, this one. After this, you have to simply click on Alt and insert, and it will ask to create a constructor. So click on this and select the first one, click on OK. This will create a constructor, and here you have to just remove these all stuff. You don't need these, and also remove this nullable. And we have to also remove these all, and in context, and after this we have to write the database name, that will be login.db, and after this it will ask for the factory, so that is null, and the version will be 1. And here you can see this, it goes. After this, what we have to do is we have to again press Alt and insert. Okay, so it's not showing. Here you have to just go over here and click on implement methods, and you have to select these both and click on OK. It will implement two methods, that is on create and on upgrade. So here what we have to do is on create. In on create, we actually create the data, create the table. So what we have to do is we have to just write like this. Here we have created the DB, that is login DB, and inside this DB we have to create the table. So here I'm going to create a table. So my DB name is over here, that is DB. So I'm going to change the name to my. I'm going to change this one to my DB like this, my DB, so that I can easily identify. So mydb dot access SQL, and inside this one we have to write create table, and table name will be users, and there will be two columns, that is username, and this accept the text type, and the first username is nothing but primary key. After this we have password. This will also be text, like this. Now this will create a table with the name users, and there will be two columns, that is username which accept text, and another column is password, that is also of text type. Okay, so next thing, inside the on upgrade, it means that whenever you are upgrading your application, then what you want to do with the database or with the table. So I want to drop that table, so I'm going to write that query for that. So drop tables, table if exist, and you have to mention the table name, because whenever you upgrade, it will drop that table if it contains users, and new database will be created with the help of this constructor. Okay, after this what we have to do is we have to write few methods to actually insert the data into this one, and to fetch the data of the users according to the username and password, and also you have to check that that user exists or not. Suppose someone is trying to register with the name Kumar, which you already have in the database, then we have to check that that user already exists. For that we have to write three methods. So first method I'm going to write, that will be the public, and it will return boolean type value, so boolean, and the method name will be insert. I'm going to name this one insert data, and this will accept two parameters, that is string username, and second will be string password. After this it will shows an error because we haven't returned anything yet, because it's expecting the boolean type value either true or false. That's why it's showing an error. So in this we have to first create a, need actually SQLite database open instance. So SQLite database, I'm going to name this one mydb is equal to this dot I need get writable database. After this we need one content values. This will be content values to store the values, and then finally pass that in the query. So new content value, we have to create the object for this one, and after this we have to put the values inside this one. So content dot put, and with the column name, so username, and the value will be username, and finally the another value is dot put, and this one will be password. Make sure you write the same column name, and this one will be password, like this. After this we have to store the value, so long result is equal to mydb dot insert, and inside this one we have to mention the table name. So our table name is users, and we have to pass the null value for the second parameter inside this one, that is the null column hack, and finally we have to pass the value. If the data insertion is successful, then it will return some other values. If this one is failed, then it will return -1, and that -1 will be stored inside this one. So -1 represent the task is failed. So if result is equal to -1, it means that registration is failed. So I want to create a toast for that to show the user create a toast, and not toast, I don't want to create a toast. Okay, so we have to return false. If this one is, yeah, this one is failed, then it will return false. In the else condition it will return true if this one is successful. In the else condition, return true, like this. Now our insert data method is ready. This will insert the data and it will return either the registration is successful. If it's successful, then it will return true, and if it's not successful, then it will return false. We need another method to check that if user exists in our database or not. So I'm going to name this one public, and it will also return boolean type value. So check user, and like this, and this one is also going to accept one variable, that is user name, like this. And here what we have to do is we have to again get writable database. So for that SQLite database, my DB is equal to this dot get writable database. And inside this one we need this time cursor, like this. And here we have to write my DB dot raw data, raw query actually. And inside this one we have to pass the query. So select star from users, where user name is equal to question mark, and we have to pass that value. So new string, and finally we have to pass this user name, like this. This username, whatever, when this method is called, the username is passed with inside this one, this parameter, and this username is finally assigned to this question mark. So this will select the data. If this, suppose I'm trying to check for Saurav, then it will check for Saurav. If the data exists, then this cursor will have some data. So we are going to check if this cursor have some data or not. So if this have data, it means that registration, that user ID or username is already in our database. So if cursor dot get count is greater than 0, it means that it has some data. So we have to return true, else we have to return false. Okay, so whenever there is return result is false, then we can register with that username, right? So our second method is ready. So we have to write one more method, that is nothing but to check the username and password that will be used while we are logging in. So I'm going to write this one. So public, and this will also going to return boolean check username password, like this. And this will accept two stuff, that is user name and second is password. And again we actually need these two. So I'm going to copy this and paste it over here, and here we have to modify this one a little bit. We need username and password is equal to question mark, and here we have to write like this, username comma password, and our query is ready. And again, if this one is available, if cursor dot get count is greater than 0, then return true, else it will return false. Now the task for this DB helper is done. In this one we are actually checking for the username and password. This method will be called whenever the login button is clicked. Next thing what we have to do is we have to move to this main activity. Now the task for this DB helper is done. We are going to refer this DB helper while we are coding. So move back over here at the main activity. Here what we have to do is this one in the XML file we have created 3 use edit text box. So we have to actually extract the text from these. First register, then extract. So first I'm going to register all controls, 3 text boxes, edit text and 2 buttons. So move back over here, and here we have to write these. So edit text and we have to write username, password, and repassword like this. And we have some button, so button btn sign up, and another button is btn sign in. And we also have to create the one db helper object, so db helper my db like this. And finally move inside this on create method, and here we have to actually register those text box, edit text, and button. So username is equal to edit text, find view by id r.id.username like this. After this we have password, password is equal to edit text r.id.password. After this we have repassword, edit text, find view id r.id.repassword. And finally we have buttons, so we have two buttons, so btn sign up is equal to, and this one is button, so button find view by id r.id.btn sign up. We have btn sign in, find view by id r.id.btn sign in. Now we have registered all this stuff, and we have to just create object for that mydb, that is db helper. Mydb is equal to new db helper, and we have to pass the context, so this is the context. Finally what we have to do is we have to create a click event for these sign up and sign in button. So first I'm going to create a click event for the sign in button. So for that what we have to do is we have to just move back over here, and here we have to write btn sign up dot set on click listener, this first one, just click on this, and inside this one we have to write new view, and on click listener you have to select the second one and hit enter. And here you can see this automatically method is implemented, that is overridden. And inside this one first we have to extract the text from these text boxes, edit text. So first I'm going to extract this string user is equal to username dot get text dot toString. After this we have to extract password, so pass is equal to password dot get text dot toString. Then repassword, so string repass is equal to repassword dot get text dot toString. Now we have all the values required to actually register. So first thing what we have to check is either none of these text box or edit text needs to be empty. For that, if users dot equals null, it means that we want to show the user that you have to fill all the fields. In the same way we will check for the pass dot equals null, this is OR. And finally we have repass dot equals null. If any of these are null, then we want to show user a toast. And what toast I want to show? I want to show the toast that fill all the fields like this. Now in the else condition, let's check till now. Now I'm going to start this and let's check if this shows or not. So it's starting my emulator, and here my emulator is started now. Gradle build is running install and launching activity, and here you can see this. Now the design is login SQLite, and click on this one, and here you can see this fill all fields, the message is showing. Okay, so now I have minimized this. In the else condition, what I have to do is first I will check that if pass dot equals, what we have to check for equals, that is repass. If this is true, then we want to perform further operation. If this one is false, then I want to show a message that is that password doesn't match. So I want to show the toast password not match, like this. Inside the if condition, after this, after checking this that password and re-enter password is equal, then we want to check another thing, that is username, user exists or not. For that we have to work like this. So myDB dot check username, and inside this one we have to pass user. And as I have told you that this method inside this one, let me just check this, check username, and this method is going to return some boolean type value. For that we have to store this boolean type value inside a boolean type variable. So boolean, and this one will be valid user result. I'm going to change this one to result user check result is equal to, and this will store either true or false. So if it returns false, if user check result is equal to false, it means that we are good to go. It means that no record found it for that particular user. In the else condition, we have to show the toast user already exists. So user already exist, and I want to tell the user please sign in. Okay, so after this, now user is also checked. This one is returned false. It means that here we can see this, select a star from users where username is, whatever username is passed inside this one, and that will be checked inside the database. If that username is found in the database, then that will return some value, and that will be stored inside this cursor. So now the count for inside this cursor will be increased to either 0 or 1. So if this one is greater than 1, it means that it have some values. Greater than 0, it means it have some values. Then it will return true. In that case, we are not good to go. In that case, we need to show this message that is user already exists, please sign in. And in the else condition, it will return false. It means that user doesn't exist. So that way I have checked this for the false condition. After this, we have to check for that insert operation. So we have to finally insert the value. So I have to insert data. So that will be mydb dot insert data, and here we have to pass the user name and password. Okay, so this will register our user, but if we execute this, then this will register our user, but we won't get any response. That user will be unaware that either registration is successful or not. In that case, how to check that if registration is successful or not? So here we have this method insert data, and in this data, this method is going to actually return either true or false. This one will return false if the registration has failed, and this will return true when registration is successful. So again, we have to store the value into a boolean variable. So boolean reg result is equal to inside this one, and finally I have to check if reg result is equal to true. Then what we have to do is we have to show the message toast, and here we have to show the message registration successful, like this. And in the else condition, I want to show registration not registered or registration failed. Okay, so let's start this again and let's check if this works perfectly fine or not. So I'm going to register for Kumar. Okay, so let me close this and start this again. Here we have this. And here you can see this. When I click on this, it will show nothing. This one is true. Now register, and registration is successful. And here when I click on this, fill all fields, first credential is working, that is we are checking for all is empty or not, and second is password not matching. So I've written Kumar over here and here is KUM, so register, password not matching. This time I'm going to match this with Kumar and Kumar register, user already exists, please sign in, because previously I tried but that time that toast message is not showing, that's why it's showing that. Okay, so now back this and we are going to register with some other username. So let me start with this. So I'm going to name this one SRV and password will be SRV and SRV. Now register, and here you can see the registration is successful. If you try to register again, user already exists and please sign in. This one is looking very little odd. What I want is whenever we click on this and if registration is successful, then we move to the login page. There it will ask from the user to enter username and password. So for that, what we have to do is we have to create one login page first. So right click on this, click on new and select activity, and here I'm going to select empty activity. I'm going to name this one login activity. And click on finish. It will create a new activity. And here what I want is whenever registration is successful, I want to move to the login page. So here registration result, and this one is successful, then I want to move to that registration, that is login activity. So intent is equal to new intent. Inside this one I'm going to pass this get application context, that is the current context, and where we have to move to the login activity dot class, and finally start activity, and inside this one we have to pass the intent. Now start this again and let's check if this works or not. Terminate this, and this time I'm going to just write for new username, that is ABC, and password will be ABC, and third password will be ABC. Registration user already registered. Okay, so we have ABC. So ABC, I'm going to write 1 2 3 register, and here you can see this registration successful and we are on the login page. So inside login page we haven't designed anything, so that's why it's showing empty. So now registration, the task for registration is done. So let me close this, and next thing we have to code for this another button, that is this one, existing user. When we click on this, we need to move to this login activity. For that, move back over here, and inside this one we have to write just btn sign in dot set on click listener new view on click listener, and here we have to simply write the stuff, that is intent is equal to new intent, and inside this one we have to pass get application context, and we have to pass this login activity dot class, and finally start activity, and inside this one we have to pass the intent. Now start this and let's check if that works or not. So in this one, second button we have coded for this one. Whenever we click on this, we move to the login activity. So this is working fine. After this, now the coding for this registration part is done. Now we have to design this login page. So let me minimize this, move back to this activity login XML, and here go to the coding part, that is XML, click on split. And here first thing what we have to do is we have to just remove this constraint layout. I'm going to change this one to relative layout, And here I want to set the background first, so background will be same, so at the rate drawable pg image 1, this one, and I'm going to set some padding, so padding will be 10 dp. And after this I need two text boxes and one image box. So first I'm going to add one image box or image view, and the height will be match, width will be match parent, and height will be 200 dp. And I'm going to set some ID for this one, so ID will be image view. And after this I have to set the image for this one, so src, it will be drawable at the rate drawable login, this one. And finally we have to set the scale type center crop, and you can see this one is large now, this one is looking better. After this we need to edit text box, so edit text, and inside this one we have to set the height and width, so match parent and wrap content, that will be the height. I'm going to set the ID for this one, so ID will be username, and this time this is login username login. I'm going to set this one username login, and after this I'm going to set the hint for this one, so hint will be user name. After the hint we have to set the margin top, that will be the 50 dp, and we have to set this below that image view, so below, it will be below image view. And we have to set the text size, so text size will be 25 sp. Now this is looking better. After this we have to set the same thing but for the password, so I'm going to copy this and paste it again and change this one to password login, and we have to set this below username login, and we have to change the hint, change this one to password, and now this one is looking nice. After this we need one button, that is sign in button, so I'm going to add that quickly. So button, the height will be width will be match parent, and this will be wrap content, and we have to set the ID, so ID will be btn sign in, btn, I'm going to change this one to log in, not sign in, just log in. After this we have to set the text, I'm going to set this one login, and I'm going to set the text size to 25 sp. And here you can see this, I have written this one in the small letters but it's showing in the capital. So what we have to do is we have to just change one property, text all cap, change this one to false, and here you can see this, now we can see this one small. After this we have to set this layout below that password, so t password login password like this, and we have to set some background color. So for that I'm going to set that background tint, and I'm going to set Android, and I have to set color orange, not dark, yeah, dark will be good. Here you can see this one is looking nice, and we have to set some margin, top margin, so I'm going to set some top margin to 25 dp, and here you can see this, now our design is ready, and this one is looking really nice. Now start this once again and let's check if this one is looking nice or not. Okay, so terminate this and click on this, and here you can see this, we have now the login page. Okay, so now what we have to do is, next thing we have to move back to this one, that is login activity. Double click on this. Inside this one we have to register first all these buttons and edit text box, edit text. So over here first thing what we have to do is we have to just write like edit text user name, and the second will be password, and we have one button, so button, and this is btn login, and finally we need one db helper, my db, like this, and we need one home page where we have to move when we click on the login. So once this part is done, then I'm going to add another activity for that. Okay, so first I'm going to register. So the username is equal to, and this is edit text, so edit text, this will be find view by id r dot id dot username login, password, this is also edit text, so edit text find view by id r dot id dot password login, like this. And after this we have to register that button login, so btn login is equal to button type, so button find view by id r dot id dot btn login, like this. Finally we have to create my db helper class object, so my db is equal to new db helper, and we have to pass the context, so this is the context. After this we have to set the click listener for this btn login, so btn login, and inside this one dot set on click listener new view on click listener, and now override the method on click. This will generate a click event, and here finally we have to write the click method. Inside this one we have to verify the username and password from the database. For that we have already written one method inside this one, that is check username and password inside this db helper, so I'm going to use this method to check either the user exists in the database or not. So move back over here, that is login activity, and here first thing I need one username and password, so string username is equal to username okay, so let me change this one to user, and here username dot get text, and convert this one to string. And next thing we need password, so string pass is equal to password dot get text dot to string, and we have now username and password. So finally what we have to do is we have to first check that either these two edit text is empty or not. So for that, if user dot equals null or users dot equals null, not user this time, password, so it will be pass. And if this is null, then we want to show the toast message to the user that fill all fields or please enter the credentials. In the else condition, both text boxes are filled or any text is filled, then we have to check the user from the database. So we have to call the method that is mydb dot check username and password. Inside this one we have to pass the user and password. And let me move back to this db helper, and inside this one, this method is also going to return a boolean type value, either true or false. If that username and password match in the database, then it will return true, and else it will return false. So if move back to this, yeah, here, so we have to store the value first, so that will be boolean, and the result, I'm going to name this one variable result, and if the result is true, it means that the user is valid. So if result is equal to true, it means that this user is valid. Then we have to move to the dashboard or the home page, and else we have to show a toast message. So toast, I'm going to show a message that invalid credentials. And let me first write a method, or sorry, let me create a new activity that it will be the home activity. So click on this activity and select empty activity, click on this, and I'm going to name this one to home activity. Click on finish. This will create a new activity, and let me close this main activity for now. Move back over home activity, click on split, and here we have to actually set this one. Background will be at the rate drawable image. This one is looking nice. And after this I have to set one text view. So this will be match parent, and match parent, just let it be. And I'm going to set the text welcome home, so that we can see this whenever we log in. Text size will be 35 sp, and I'm going to just set this one in the center. So center in parent. Okay, let me just change this one to center in parent, make this one true, and we have to set the text color. So text color will be color white, and here you can see that this one is looking nice. So whenever this, let me move back to this login activity here. Whenever the login is successful or the username and password matches, then we have to move to this dashboard or home page. So intent is equal to new intent. Inside this one we have to write get application context, and we have to write the activity name, that is nothing but home activity dot class, and finally we have to start the activity, that is intent, like this. And if the login is successful, so now let's start this and let's check if this works or not. Terminate, and here we go. So we have registered with ABC and ABC, right? So if I log in, and here you can see this, we are on the login page. Move back over here, click on A again, the wrong password, and click on this invalid credentials. So this one is working fine. If I change the username and login, invalid credential, this one is working. So now I'm going to register with username, that is something XYZ, and I'm going to just write XYZ, and this one also XYZ. And if I click on register, registration successful, and we move to the login page. Here we have to write XYZ and XYZ, and when I click on login, we successfully log in. So everything is working fine. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed coding and designing with me. So please subscribe and share with your friends, and also follow us on Instagram, and we just subscribe to keep updated with our new content. Thanks for watching.